up, everybody?
Here we
are back, and we're back again
for the Brotherly Love Podcast.
Brotherly Love
Oh, boy.
the pod. What's up, fellas?
Oh, boy.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm great.
How are you doing out there?
I am
listening,
stoked.
watching.
Stoked for today.
Why are you stoked for today, Andy?
Well, because we have I have a lifelong friend here joining us.
We have a friend coming to the table
a
to
family
sit down,
friend coming over for dinner.
have a few drinks with us.
I'll say
right.
Shoot the shit.
People think it's just water in these mugs.
It's rare. It's rare when you work on a project in like on a show or a movie or something, and you translate that movie relationship, like your movie family. It's rare that translates into real life.
That is true.
But,
Very true.
But in this instance, and it speaks volumes of what a genuine person this man is. Not only have we been friends for 30 years.
30 years, bro.
Wow, that's weird
30
to say.
years, dude.
30 years.
Woo!
Yeah, our friendship translated from a TV dad to being a staple in my life and
I know.
a major influence and wonderful friend for a long time.
Well, I know you guys.
memories.
The memories.
So
we
many
all have
good
the
memories.
We live through those memories
Remember
with
those
you.
dinners and stuff?
Oh my God! I just
yeah.
can't wait. I can't wait to bring him out here. It's been it's been so fun, talking about having him here today and being a part of this journey that we're on and having him be a part of it like this. It's really
Super cool.
So I think we should just get right.
Yeah, without
to it.
further
Let's
ado.
just without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our friend, our buddy, our family member, Tom Arnold. Everybody.
Here I am. Hi, buddy.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, Tom? How are you, Tom?
All right.
How you doing, man?
Good to be here with you guys.
We are so happy to have you here,
Yeah.
man.
If your mom was here, it'd be perfect. Like the old days.
Mama
I love
D.
her.
Yes.
I love her so much.
She loves you too,
Well,
man.
you
I
know.
cannot believe you're here, dude.
I know. It's great. I can't believe you guys are doing this.
I
We can't
believe
either.
that-
Together?
I can't believe
Yeah.
that you've been in our lives for 30 years.
Yeah, that's a long time. I think you were 4.
So 31
Okay.
years.
31
I
years.
still don't get over. It's hard when someone plays your son, like you or my son, and then they grow up, and you still kind of look at them.
Yeah.
I saw you on a plane recently, and you said, I didn't. I looked at you like, there's a dude there that looks like a really grown up Andy Lawrence.
I was sitting behind
kinda
him.
rough. He's kinda rough
I was
looking.
sitting behind him. I was waving to come.
Yeah.
You kind of gave me a
Yeah.
smile. I was like, Tom.
And then I figured out. You texted me, and I'm like, oh my God, that's you.
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
But it's
guys.
great.
Wow.
You guys do look like you could be related. To
I
us.
know,
Absolutely.
Actually,
Good casting.
Absolutely.
Like
Good
it's-
casting.
Yeah.
Actually, this is creeping me out
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Go
All our
on
listeners,
YouTube.
yeah, for all of our listeners
Go
out
on
there,
YouTube,
go to
right?
the YouTube channel, watch the show this week
Yeah.
because I'm telling you, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
for sure.
You guys really do
For
look
sure.
You
related.
guys need to revisit
great.
something
A little
like
bit
that.
of backstory.
Yeah.
I played Tom's son
Yes.
on Tom.
Yes.
Which was, God, I guess 93, 92, 93?
93 probably, yeah.
And it was a
What a
badass sitcom.
Great
Yeah.
Oh my
Dude.
God.
show.
It was fun.
You
Oh
look at
my
these shows
goodness.
that people took, that the networks especially took for granted
Dude.
back then.
Yeah.
They would kill
Oh
my
for
God.
something like
I
that today.
know. Yeah.
They wouldn't even, first of all, honestly, in my opinion, they don't even know how to make shows
No
like
way.
that.
True.
Dude. Tom was the quarterback carrying all the weight. We had guest stars. Andy Dick, Chris Farley was
Yeah.
on the show.
Bob
Your
Odenkirk
bu-
played
oh
my
God.
brother.
Yeah.
Oh
But
my
here's the
gosh.
thing. Andy knew, because he couldn't read yet, I
No.
believe.
Right.
He knew the whole script. He had it memorized, and I would screw up, and then he would correct me. And your mom would be like, "No, Andy, don't." I go, "No, Andy, do." What am I supposed to say? And that was very, very helpful. And,
Child actor part script supervisor.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
that is so
Yeah.
cool. What inspired me most, and Matt and I obviously, Andy and I are 11 and a half years apart, right? So
Right.
for me to be able to witness this, and I remember I was like, okay, so if he was 4, that means that I was like 15,
Right.
going on 16. And I remember so many times we used to live at our house in Valley Village,
Oh, yeah,
right?
Old
Yeah,
Hesby
yeah.
Street, yeah.
And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
I'd see the black Bentley pull up, and I'm a car guy, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, Tom's here!" And the black Bentley would roll up, and Tom would roll down the tinted window with the stogie, and he'd be like, "Hey Joey, how you doing, buddy? Let Andy know I'm here." And I'd be like, "Tom's here," and Andy'd come out
Yeah.
with his little outfit.
Oh, I
like,
was so
"Go
excited,
see
man.
A movie
Yeah.
with Tom."
Yeah.
Coolest.
Well, all the stuff that we used to do, the silly streak fights,
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, my gosh.
I always wanted to be a dad. I said I did.
Yes.
Yes.
And
yes.
it's a good thing I did because
Yeah.
it's on when you're a father, as you guys know.
Yes.
But the games I played with Andy, I played with my son, who's 10 now, but they're exactly, and so it was so fun for me at the time. but also good practice
That
for
is so
in the future.
amazing. I
you
mean,
know.
the stories, dude. I love that you would pick him up and like the
Yeah.
genuineness.
I love
of the
that I
way-
used to have a Bentley.
I know.
That's some
Dude,
day. That's a
I
while
know,
back.
man.
you would smoke
I know.
cigars in the back.
Bentley
and
Turbo.
roll
Yes,
down the window.
I love that car. Black.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that car was so beautiful.
Yeah,
Anyway,
man.
yes.
Yeah.
We saw Speed 2.
Yes.
They actually shut down the theater for you.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
one,
that's so
Universal.
nice.
Yeah, they shut down the theater for
That's
us.
nice.
And it was just Tom and I was like 7, you know. It was like
Yeah.
the coolest thing
Oh
ever.
my god.
I remember one time you dropped me off, and I think my parents were late coming home, and,
Yeah.
and one of us had to use the facility or
Yeah,
something. So
probably me.
You decided you were going to unlock the house through the. Do you remember this? The
Oh,
doggy
yeah,
door.
Yeah, revive me. Oh,
And
yeah,
you got
of course.
stuck.
Yeah, yeah.
And then,
my
like I
God,
said,
I remember.
the alarm went off.
Yeah.
Cops came. They tried to handcuff you.
Yeah.
And I was like, no,
Yeah.
it's my buddy Tom. And they're like, who's this young kid? And this
Yeah,
guy?
yeah,
Like,
exactly. That
what is
looks
this
weird.
relationship? It's like, you don't understand.
Yeah.
It's Hollywood, man.
Sneaking in
Yeah.
through the doggy
Yeah.
door.
Yeah.
Are you sure he's my friend?
Yeah, I was like,
That's what they all
he's my
say.
TV dad. What are you talking about,
Yeah,
kid?
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
But you
God.
guys have all been nice boys your whole life,
Oh,
you know,
we're
trying.
because you meet people when they're young and you think, okay, this is gonna go off the rails at some point. One of them,
Some point.
one of them. But look at you guys, you're killing it.
And
you
we're
know?
trying, man.
That's
you know?
great, man.
It's been a journey, as you know.
Yeah, I
mean,
know
there
you've
are
been
ups
married
and
almost
downs.
as much as me.
I have.
Yeah.
I have. 3
You'll
times.
catch up. You'll catch up.
No, I'm done.
Yeah.
Never again. No matter what happens, never again.
People
No.
say that.
I know.
People
oh,
say
please,
that.
Of course.
You know, Jim
Who goes
Cameron
into it
said
going,
something
you
after
know,
my 4th divorce. I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Yeah, it would be bad if I got. And he goes, nobody writes your story except you. Nobody writes the ending. His 5th wife is who he's with now. Wow. And they could not be happier.
Cool.
So,
Really?
Hey,
yeah.
Well,
how
that's
about
actually
that?
it.
There's
Yeah.
hope.
I'm not looking.
You know
to-
the old saying, 5 times the charm.
Yeah, no.
It's 3.
Yeah.
No, it's 5. We've been
Yeah.
a little addendum to that statement.
It's shocking when you're married on your 3rd. You're like, I just didn't picture this. And I know you guys are like,
course.
get married once, and
That's
then
it. Yeah.
everything
That's
will be
it.
great.
Yeah.
I know. No, you never. Believe me, nobody wants that. Nobody plans
No.
that.
No.
It's you know, and obviously divorce is very
Yeah.
tough, and especially when you have children. And,
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
worse, way
My
worse to have
girls
children.
are, yeah, man, they've been champs, but you
Yeah.
know, they've been through it, and
Yeah.
you know, it just you want it to work, and it just doesn't, and then but it's your life too, and you that fine line of like, well, you gotta give yourself a shot and the other person a shot to find that right person, and
Right.
you know, you hang in there, and I mean, I was married 15 years, you know,
Yeah.
and it just wasn't.
Well, I mean, you got to. We have one life, guys.
Yep.
And we
Right.
get to be happy. And although the kids, people are always like, "Well, I'm going to stay together for my kids," and
Yes.
I assume a lot of people used to do that. But at a certain point, the kids are feeling it,
Oh,
Absolutely.
and they
course.
just
Yeah.
want, going through a divorce. They're it can be hurtful to them, but then to see their dad and mom be happy on
Right.
their own, like they're like, "Oh, this is the house I want to live
That's
in."
how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that is how it's supposed to
Yeah,
be.
I was
But it takes guts.
It
It
does.
does
I was a
take guts.
product of that. My parents got
Yeah.
divorced. I was 14, and I had known that both of them were staying too long at the fair, and that they
Yeah.
were doing it probably for me. And I
Right.
and I knew it. I was conscious of that, and I have a much better relationship with both of my parents now.
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
that's good to
Yeah.
hear. That's very good to hear.
It comes around. I know your kids are still young, some
Yes.
of them, and it does. It completely, full
Yeah.
circle. Like when you go through those teen years, I know I had angst towards both my
Oh,
parents, but
yes.
then you really turn around in your 20s and start to respect what they
Yeah.
were telling you. So it's all
Well,
cyclical.
here's the thing. My daughter's 7, my son's 10. People are like, well, it's all great. But then when they're teenagers, they'll hate you. And I go, well, I'll be 100 years old. You talk about their 20s. I was 54 when I had my son.
Wow.
I had 57 with my daughter. But it is the best thing ever. And, I was telling Andy, I haven't had a date in about 6 years, which is not a problem. But you also, when you're 64, you go, yeah, what's your life like? Well, I got a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old. Women my age are like, yeah, forget that. I have grandkids. I'm not,
Wow.
But I do look at there's some great moms at school. I do the drop off, and you kind of watch it. And my son got me a shirt that said, "There's a guy named Danny Duncan on." He spins through the people he loves on YouTube, Mr. Beast for a while,
Yeah.
and whatever,
my God.
and he sells the shirts that say, "I love hot moms." It's got a heart, and then it. And so he got me that. I thought, well, I'll just wear that. And,
Oh my God.
oh, here's a better one. He bought a shirt from this guy that says, do MILFs, not drugs. And I didn't know what MILF stood for. And he wore it to
God.
school, and they called me, and they're like, do you know what MILF stands for? I go, no, I think it's like middle-aged women or something.
Yeah, moms
I'd
that like to-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, my God, I had no idea. I thought, it's
Oh
an
my God.
anti-drug message. I'm all for that.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I thought it was milk.
Oh
It's
my
milk.
God.
I thought it was milk. You know,
Yeah.
like it does a body
Oh
good.
my
It's an old
God.
campaign slogan. It's been
Right.
for
It just
years.
doesn't seem like they would put a dirty. By the way, the music these kids listen now
Oh,
they have
gosh.
Oh my
dirty
God.
words in all of them.
Right.
It
Yeah, I
is.
know.
We even Justin Bieber.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Nobody
Can't get
said-
away from it.
Yeah.
No, it's everything has an explicit rating.
Yeah.
Everything. I talk to my daughters about it all the time. Like I grew up in like the last age of innocence, I feel like, you know, like in terms
Right.
of music where it was just still
Parental
alluded to.
advisory labels were
No,
still
it was
printed
still
on
alluded
CDs.
to. You know what it was?
Yeah.
The 80s and 90s? Like, sure, you know, Like a Virgin.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, right.
I didn't know what that song was.
Yeah.
It was even as expository as it was.
Yeah.
If you weren't listening for that,
Yeah.
you didn't really know.
That's
It was
right.
just
That's
it
right.
was just a cool bass line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a virgin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
But today, I mean, it is
Yeah.
right at you,
Yeah.
man. It is. I'm gonna literally.
Yeah, yeah.
She's gonna suck my.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah,
And it's
it
right
is.
there, and you
Yeah.
can't run away from that. And you're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, but I got to tell you, the music today is excellent.
It
There's
is
a
good.
lot of women that are just, you know, I tell my kids, they go, "Who you get married?" I go, "Megan Thee Stallion." That's who I'm going to recommend. But then,
Yeah.
you know, they what gives you an opportunity to talk about stuff
It
with
does.
your kids when you hear the bad words or whatever, you know, and you get to have long conversation about what are the bad words and what can you say in this house. But don't ever let somebody at school or another parent to hear, you know, because my son gets on Fortnite and I hear him shit talking his friends. Like, oh, you gotta come in there. Like, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh my
He goes,
God.
that's all my buddies. We're just. I go, don't let that get out of the house. You know. Yeah.
I will. Well, I will take you down. Oh,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Well,
son.
then you'll hear a word because a lot of rappers will say the N word
of
and in
course.
the song,
Oh,
and
no.
I'll say it was a good conversation for us. I said you could
Absolutely.
say basically anything else and except that word, and we had a
Right.
long talk about you know
That's cool.
and he does understand that. The other day, because so many of his friends have their accounts have something 69.
Oh God.
And my son is pretty
God.
innocent. He asked me to car. My daughter's in the back. What is 69? And I thought for a second. I said, well, that's like, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't do that because that's like a sexual thing when the husband is standing on his head and the mom is not, and it was disgusted him.
Oh, my God.
But
Oh,
but
my
he
God.
but it's good to you got to address
Husband
those.
standing on the head.
Well, I
Handstands?
just I was
What the
trying
hell's
to figure out
going
how
on?
it looks.
See, son, there's these
Yeah,
numbers.
'cause they're up,
One
you know.
number is going like this.
Yeah.
And the other number's
Yeah.
going like this.
Yeah.
Can't I
You
be the
know-
nine?
You know what's funny? I'll tell you a funny story about it. I thought I knew everything, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
he's,
right.
You said your son's 10?
Yes.
Okay. So like 10. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I we were in Hawaii. I'll never forget this. And we were on the beach, and I must have heard this word somewhere, but I didn't know what it meant at all. Okay.
Right.
And it was the P word.
Yeah, of course,
okay?
of course.
You know.
Yeah, of
and
course.
We all know what that word is.
Yeah.
Females.
Female and
Yeah.
I mean, but,
Area?
anyway, but anyway, horrible, derogatory word for sure. And I must have heard that somewhere. And we were on the beach, and I'll never forget this. Is that my dad was building a sandcastle with me,
Yeah.
and he was digging, and he was digging the sand out, and I was like, "Come on, that hole's got to be bigger, Dad." He's like,
Yeah.
"You want to get down here and do it?" I'll never forget. I was like on the beach. I was like, "Dad, you gotta just stop being a P." And he turned around.
Yeah.
I'll never forget this. Right. So, long story short, he picked my ass up, drug me back to the hotel room.
Yeah.
You weren't born yet,
Yeah,
Andy.
yeah.
You were like young, 6.
Yeah.
baby.
Okay, I was thrown in the room. I had to spend the next
Yeah.
day and a half in the hotel room.
Right.
Okay, I was so embarrassed. I felt terrible. I didn't know what the word meant.
Yeah.
But I acted like I did. But I
course.
honestly had no idea what that word meant.
Yeah.
And in subsequent conversations, this wrapped me back into it. Both my mom and dad said, "Listen, this is a horrible word. You can never say the word again." He's like, "How much of this stuff do you know?" I was like, "I know everything." They're like, "Really?" Okay, and I'll never forget this.
Yeah.
I was like, "That's right. I know everything." And my dad was like, "Really? Okay, great. Then we're gonna go through it. What does
my
a
God.
blowjob mean?"
Yeah. Good.
I was like, "Dad, come on. You
Yeah.
know what that means." He's
Yeah.
like, "What is a blowjob?" I
Yep.
was like, "Dad, it's when you take a hairdryer and blow your penis."
yeah.
And
You
he was
can
like-
do that, but not
and
a
he was
hot
like, he
one.
was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, Joe.
Yeah.
Good shit. Yep,
Yeah.
you're right. You do know everything, but you're right."
Yeah, no, that's a good conversation.
Any kind
I'm
of
glad he-
conversation you can
Yeah.
have like that in a safe space
Yeah.
with your parent.
Yeah.
It's much better than having it with friends.
Oh, absolutely.
My mom and dad always preached.
Yeah.
Look, if you want to have those talks, we're having them here. If
Yeah,
you want to have a
that's
sip
right.
of wine,
Yeah.
have it here. If
Have
you
a
want to have
party,
with friends,
have it
have
here.
it here.
That's right.
I'd rather
That's
you have
right.
it here because
Yeah.
that way I know you're safe.
Yeah.
And nothing can get out of control. You know?
Yeah, I grew up very innocent. My dad, a single dad, when he was 22, I was 4, my sister was 3, my brother's 1. That's crazy because they got married. And at some point when I was 10, he also hadn't had a date, and he started dating the next door neighbor, who's kind of comes from a different place than my dad's family. And I heard her and her sister in an argument one time, and the sister called her a whore. I didn't know what that was. I thought it was like a horse. And so I said, Dad, they had Shirley called Ruth a whore. And he's like taking his fist back like, what the? And then we had to have the conversation. Like, I never heard words, like that.
Yeah.
And,
Wow. Ruth was the name Ruth?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. That's such an old school name.
Yeah.
Ruth. We had a next door neighbor. Her name was Ruth and Howard. I don't know if you ever met them. You might have met
Probably.
them.
Yeah, you might have called the cops.
They might have
when you were stuck in the doggy
They were
door.
like our surrogate grandparents,
Yeah.
sort of. They were literally like an old school, Ruth and Howard.
Yeah.
Think about that. Born in the early 1900s. And
Right.
they were amazing.
Yeah.
This is an old school name. You don't hear that name a lot.
Yeah,
anymore.
that's true.
Ruth.
Well, and the thing is with kids, you can't call other kids names. You get stupid is worse than maybe the F word because you're calling somebody a name and you're making, you just
right.
can't do that.
You're right.
So I know I'm not a fan of the F word in the house either.
No.
But they have heard me say stuff accidentally.
Yeah, of course.
Very
Yeah.
close. And my daughter has one of those dollar. She's
Oh,
full of dollars.
She got a swear jar?
Yeah.
Nice.
But I appreciate when she's like, Daddy, I go, you're right. You're 100% right. I'll do that just to know that that's not okay.
Wow. That's
You
good,
know,
man. That's
yeah.
good, dude.
cool.
Now, I noticed you got.
Oh, yeah.
and for
Speaking
all
of
our
daughters,
listeners-
yeah.
Speaking
My
of daughters,
daughter,
you
I
have
had-
the most beautiful turquoise color
Yeah.
painted nails.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, whoever did the manicure, man, your
Yeah.
cuticles look on point.
They're
Well,
pro.
I have the mother of a kid is like, do you ever say no to the kids? I go, well, I've never said no to Quinn, my 7-year-old, because there's been no reason to say no. If she did something, I'm sure along the way.
Oh,
but I'm
along
not.
the way there will be, but you
Yeah.
don't need to overuse it.
No,
if you don't.
You don't.
not.
And it's funny to me. I've said no to my son a lot. Right, but she paints my nails. She started doing this a couple years
Wait,
ago.
she painted those?
Well,
That's what I
she
said.
usually
I was
does.
like, they look really good.
And then she'll paint them, and then it kind of comes off, which is kind of good. Or she'll do my big. Well, on Friday we do a couple times a month we do dad-daughter night because you got to get these kids away from each other, and we do dad-son nights too. But we went. She said, "I want to get a manicure pedicure." We went to a place up there in Brentwood, and they were picking the colors, and she wanted these, but the lady said, "No, we can't do that on kids, whatever that means." And so she got different colors, and then. She said, "Daddy, I want you to get these." So I got them. I didn't know they were different than normal. They're
Are they
called
the Gel
gels.
X?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Oh my God.
They're never coming off.
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
Never, the Gel X, man.
Yeah.
They'll last through like wars.
That's what I found out. But also, they kind of are expensive, so I don't really want. I paid for them, and I was at the Improv doing stand up, and I thought before I went on stage, I thought I'm going to acknowledge this because it's so obvious last night, and I forgot. And about halfway through, I know people are looking, and they're like, "Let me explain what happened here." But they are nice.
They are.
nice.
They look lovely.
Yeah, they
Right,
are.
They did a great job.
Yeah, and it's
really.
a lot of work. They had to keep doing the thing with the
the lights.
Lights.
Oh, yeah.
And I noticed they weren't doing that with my daughter, her nails, but I thought, well, maybe they just want me to have my nails dry so I can pull money out of my pocket to pay, which is smart. That's how you think of
Yeah,
things.
trust me, I have a 17-year-old, 13-year-old. I know
Yeah.
all about Gel X. I know all
Yeah.
about Acrylex. I know
Oh,
all
yeah.
about, all I get is nail. And my daughters are obsessed with the long nails.
talons.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
I hate the talons. And
Yeah.
I told them that. I hate the way
Yeah.
it looks. I don't know how you do
Well,
anything
just because
with
when they
those.
touch, like they're trying to use
Everything
your
is
phone
this.
or
Oh my
pick
God!
up something.
I see women on the internet. And the sun long nail. Like, how do they wipe their ass?
Well, I know.
That
I
seems
was the same
The
complicated.
thing.
bacteria that probably exists
Oh, my
underneath
God.
those nails.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God! And honestly,
Yeah.
it's just not a good look. There's nothing you can
Probably
do.
send you
with
to the hospital with a good
this
scratch.
small.
Yeah.
So I have I always get look. My 17-year-old, she kind of does what she wants. Because
Right,
she's
of
17,
course,
I'm
of
trying
course,
to,
you gotta
But
let
my 13-year-old, I'm like,
Yeah.
you're not doing it.
Yeah.
And I let her get them, but they're never as long as she wants them.
Yeah, of course.
And she's always very upset about that.
Yeah.
But I said, look, one day you can do whatever you want, but right
Right.
now it looks ridiculous. I said,
Right.
it looks ridiculous.
Part of her doing it though is because she's 13. Her
it.
dad saying, "Don't
No,
do that."
That's it,
Like
of course.
and I think that
Of course.
once kids get used to whatever it is they want,
Yep.
they're like, okay,
Yep.
this is it. But the kids, other kids, do stuff.
Yeah.
They do. They do. I have a 13. Well, my youngest daughter is still a little baby, but
Yeah.
I was blessed with three girls, Tom. So
Yeah,
growing
that's
up in
crazy.
a house full of boys.
Well, you're
like,
kind of a girl too, so
That's what I said. It's perfect.
yeah. You are perfect.
I wear that. I
Yeah.
wear that badge proudly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's okay. Yeah, you're right. I like to be kind of well groomed and well
Yeah,
kept. Yeah.
yeah, you do.
I like to smell good.
A rocking little body you got there. Something's never changed. Something's never changed, man. Right. But I have to say this about girl. My son is a miracle because it took so long.
Yeah.
We tried, all 4 of my ex-wives tried, and because I have a low sperm count.
Okay.
So it was all my fault. So I wanted to adopt, by the way, and or get a sperm donor. And they were like, well, no, we'll try this. And Shaquille O'Neal was my next door neighbor the whole time he played for the Lakers.
Is he going to be the donor?
Well, that's what I thought.
Was he the dad?
I mean, he made beautiful kids. That's just fact. And I would think.
I remember this, actually.
Yeah.
We came over to his house once when I was there. Yeah.
And he's so nice a kid. But in Iowa, I grew up on a farm. If you wanted to borrow a cup of sugar from a neighbor, you go to their door and say, may I borrow a cup of sugar? They'd be like, yeah.
Oh my God.
And you have those little cups.
Bring a water jug over to
Well,
Shaquille's house.
A bucket, one of those sparkling bottles. Hey, listen,
Yeah.
could you put a little in here? I gotta
Yeah.
take it to the lab.
But
Oh my-
it worked out the way it's supposed to.
Hey, I have to say, thank God the universe did that because I've always thought Tom always needed to be a dad, dude. You treated me
Absolutely.
so well
I agree.
when I was a kid and allowed just for so
What
many
adventures,
wonderful.
too.
Oh my God.
You never treated him. You were always.
You took me seriously.
We all-
Well, he was my peer. He was my
That's
peer
so
for
cool.
sure.
Matt and I always marveled at
Yeah,
how
for
you
sure.
treated Andy
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he was like a genuine friend. Like
Yeah.
you were a protector of him.
Yeah. For
sure.
You were his guardian. You were there.
A
You were
mentor.
Like, no one's
Yeah.
I
gonna mess with
definitely
this kid.
talked to it. We
But-
talked to each other, and I'm so honored
just-
that your family trusted me and respected me, and
Oh,
because
dude.
you had your whole thing
Yeah.
going in there. You have this amazing family, and but it's good because that's the way I am with my kids. We talk, and,
it's
and,
great,
they're kids, but. But also you were an actor, and you were so smart, Andy. You knew, like you were ahead of your.
Andy was,
Yeah.
Andy
He
was
was
an
way
old
ahead
soul.
of
He
Yeah.
really was.
Yeah,
He was.
He was a very old soul. Like at 6 and 7, as I'm sure you
Yeah.
can attest.
Yeah.
He would be able to process things.
Everybody would
and-
say,
yeah.
"Oh, the Lord's, but they're so nice. They got to." But that Andy,
Wow.
he's going to be the one to.
Right? I
You
know
know,
that, huh?
and now he's directing movies,
Yeah,
which is
he
crazy.
is.
He
is.
They're
Got to get
working on
me.
it.
Right?
He tried to get me a
I
blood.
tried to
I'll
get
do
one.
it. I'll do the next
It'll
one.
be good.
for
It'll
sure.
be better. It'll be better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. It's
It's
good.
better.
that
Yeah, you
Yeah.
dodged the bullet
Reasons
there.
working out.
Yeah.
I'll make it up. I'll make it up to you.
Yeah,
Though.
but I mean, look at all you guys. You start at a certain place in the business. You do the music and you do all your
Yeah.
stuff, and you're a sexy teen idol. And a lot of times it goes sideways. And here's the 3 brothers together.
Yep.
Yep.
That's a nice thing.
Yeah.
Well, it is.
Yeah, it's
And
family,
look,
man.
we've had our ups and downs.
Yeah.
We
Of
all
course,
have, right? I mean,
yes.
the journey is
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about Bentleys. I have Bentleys.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this industry, nobody understands.
Unless you're super lucky.
Well,
like,
unless you're
super
Yeah.
the top
lucky.
one of one.
Yeah,
and
no
you
kidding.
can-
People
and you
don't
can
know.
just and you can
Yeah.
just get there. And like Tom Cruise, I mean, he deserves it. But
Yeah.
you,
But 40 years of
but
number
40
one hit movies
years
at the box
of-
office.
Yeah, that
it's like,
doesn't happen.
dominance. 40
Yeah.
years of
Yeah.
dominance. Where
No, that's
there's
weird.
never
Yeah.
a dip.
Yeah.
I mean, the dip is that this year you made 100 million instead
Yeah.
of 400 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It just does not
Just
happen.
getting the one opportunity. We've
Yes.
each had an opportunity
Yes.
to be in a
Right.
movie, TV show. That doesn't happen.
No,
doesn't.
I know.
It doesn't.
And to
It
get
doesn't.
that,
True.
and
It's like
then
winning
to
the
get it
lottery
again.
every time.
And then
you
to
know?
It
try
is.
to sustain or try to develop some sort of system where you can be, where you can account for that and budget for that and understand how it's going to come. There is no ebb and flow.
Yeah.
The ebb and flow is completely sporadic and unpredictable.
Yeah.
You could have an amazing month and then literally have months and months where you make nothing.
Years.
And
Absolutely.
people don't understand, like,
Years.
nothing.
Yeah.
And
That's
when they
right.
say,
With
when
nothing.
people
Yeah.
say nothing, like we literally mean nothing.
No,
and
I
like
get
10
it.
bucks.
I get the
In
nothing.
fact, it's the opposite. You're actually self-funding to get
Yes.
things out there, so you're
Absolutely.
spending.
Absolutely.
Not earning, spending
Yeah.
on
You're
yourself.
so brutal,
Yeah.
and people are creatures
Especially
of habit.
if you have a moderate amount of success too,
Yes.
because they have a hard time understanding and relating to it because they feel like it's there.
Right.
It's not always there.
It's
Yeah.
there. They
Yeah.
see you being
Yeah,
successful.
that's true.
You're always successful. What they
Yeah.
don't understand is, you see a dollar figure, but you extrapolate that over 12 years,
and you know
you're
what's-
going
yeah.
like, how the
No,
now
but
I
you know
know
what's
I
funny?
mean,
I used to kind of get down about the road that I've been on, and then I actually started to research all these idols and people that we love.
Oh,
They
yeah.
all went through it.
They did.
Oh,
Frank
everybody.
Sinatra was broke living at his girlfriend's house
Yeah.
after his biggest album in
Yeah.
his
He
life.
was. Yes, he was.
It's just the way it
Yeah.
goes. It's
Except
the way,
Tom
the way
Cruise.
life is.
Except
Tom
Tom
Cruise.
Cruise.
And
He's the
Anomaly.
one.
Yes.
He's the only
well,
one.
I'll tell you, a good way to be less rich is to get divorced. And but we don't plan it because we're all in. We're the kind of guys that this is it.
Yeah.
We're
True.
in it. And you look back, and go, well, if I had the money from that wedding or this, that's a. But every day when I look over and see my kids,
Yep.
I go, that's it.
That's it.
That is the thing. And
work your ass off.
early on, when the kids, Mom and I got divorced, they were young, and it was a very high conflict divorce custody thing. And Sharon Stone, who's a great friend, who's by the way, talk about beautiful. Like, she's a year older than me.
Wow.
You guys look great, but
She looks unbelievable.
Like, she's a real deal.
Yeah,
and
she is.
we went. I asked her for some advice going through the court stuff because she'd actually lost custody of her son way back when she had a brain thing, and
I
the
remember
guy
that.
took
I
advantage
vaguely
of
remember
it.
that, yes.
Yeah, and she said, "I know your ex. It's going to cost you every dime you have to get your kids." And I was like, "That can't be true." And she goes, "What's more important, your money or your kids?" I go, "Well, my kids." And that was true.
Wow.
but I love, there
Holy
is
cow.
nothing, I've had a life that was too big. Living in those big houses. You guys know that.
We did as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
as well.
Honestly, we did as
We
well.
did too.
Yeah.
We did
And we have
too.
a very small life, and it's the best.
Yeah,
Because you
man.
have to do, the buck stops with me. I'm in charge of the kids. Like, that is my,
get
I'd like to work a little more. My dream is to work every other week.
Yeah.
But,
Right? I know.
it's so great, the reward being a dad, and just every day you're like, this is what a gift from God. I'm so blessed.
Yeah,
No,
man.
it is.
Yeah.
And they're blessed to have you too, bud.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
really
they
are.
are.
They are.
They are.
Absolutely.
No, it's-
Yeah, we're a good team, and you realize, well, whatever, if you go through a conflict with the other parent, and people would say to me that they'll know. The kids will know who the
Yes, they will.
And I used to think, well, how old would I be when they do? Like, I want them to know now without saying it. You don't want to say it,
No.
but they do know.
Yeah, they
you
feel the
realize,
love.
that this is calm and cool over here.
Yeah.
We have fun. This is why, and my son, who was probably 4 or something when we broke up, he got it early on. But my daughter, who was like 1,
Wow.
she said one time, "Daddy, because there's all these prince and princesses from Disney. Like, there's 2. There's 2.
of course.
She goes, how did I get here?" And so, because she'd never seen her mother and I hug. And so I took a weekend and I made some animation things from the moment she was born, because I film everything.
Right.
Cool.
And I said, here's your mom, here's me. We live in different cities, but we have one goal in life that we agree on. Finding you. Finding you and your brother.
That's so beautiful.
And that's the one thing, and it's
freaking
all
awesome.
love.
That
And,
is.
and we hate each other, but it's all love.
Exactly.
This is like us.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
man, it's true, dude.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah, it's a great-
This is a messy journey. I say it all the
Am
time.
I the only one
you
at the
know?
table that hasn't been married and divorced?
Yeah, I know.
true.
That's
Wow.
right. You are.
You're the
You are.
only man at this
Yeah.
table who has not been
Yeah.
married.
A lot of
Now, how
pressure
many
here.
times have you been married?
Just once. Just
and you a
once.
girl? I love your girlfriend. Is
Ah,
that real?
Thank you. Yes.
How did that happen? Jeez, I mean, she's amazing. And you know what else? She's got. I was looking through pictures before I came here. I've been a lifelong fan of her and you, but I think I saw
through
a picture of you guys showing your abs or something. I'm like, oh my God, how do you do that? How do you get that deal?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
You know, I'm blessed. I'm very lucky. We met through work. We were like randomly passing, and then I went. It's an interesting story. Then we were just saying hello, passing, taking some pictures, this and that, and there was a blizzard, and I had a screen test, and so I was changing all my flights around, and the only flight they could get me on was through Atlanta. She lives in Atlanta, and she was on that flight, and I was sitting right in front of her, and so
Oh
we
my
just
gosh.
started talking, and then as we were walking out, they're like, "Hey, let's just." Keep in contact on social media, like DM me or something.
that's cool.
And it just slowly, it built into a friendship first.
Yeah.
6 months, just friends.
Yes.
Just talking.
Yeah.
6-hour phone
I wish I'd have
conversation.
been on that flight instead of you.
Instead, you were on my
I'd
flight.
be down the line. I know.
And you know what? We started DMing each other and turned into a beautiful
But
friendship.
the friendship thing is really important.
Oh, yeah.
And people will
It
say,
is.
my first wife, ex-wife Roseanne, they'll say, "Are you and Roseanne still friends?" I'll say, "If we could be friends, we'd still be married."
Yes.
But that thing, that friendship thing, that gets you over some humps. The respect, being adults.
Yep.
You know, having compassion, being kind.
Yeah, that's
You know,
huge.
and
You
when
don't
you're
realize it.
not saying I screwed
I'm
up.
sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
very sorry.
Yes.
So it takes a it takes a little bit to find that. You know, and
It does.
Well, I'm very,
I mean, yeah, it
I'm very
does.
lucky here too because as just a standalone person, as a woman that she is, it's something I've not experienced before, which is this
Right.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the kindness, the
Yeah, yeah.
respect,
Yes.
the real genuine love,
Yeah.
and like, hey, your success is my success.
Yeah, of course.
It's shared. Like lately, we've been stressed out and super busy.
Of course.
Making podcasts and movies and
Yeah.
so all this stuff.
Self-funding,
And
trying to get
and
things going, you
and
know?
after
Yeah.
after like a 16-hour day, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I never called. Or
Oh my gosh.
texted. Now that would have been a bomb blowing
Yeah.
off. My month would have been ruined in
Right.
other relationships.
Right.
I call and I'm like, I'm actually really nervous. I'm like,
Yeah, of course you are.
hey, I can't believe it's been hit. Oh, that's cool. I'm so glad. I know
Yeah.
I know what you're doing. And I'm
Yeah.
like, and we go on
Yeah.
and talk about it. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well,
hallelujah.
she knows you're a good boy too. You guys are good kids, and you know,
Yeah, man.
you're ethical, and you know, it's solid. Well, I'm happy about that. I don't know how you forgot to call her in 16 hours.
I know.
That's
It's
crazy.
these two numbskulls.
I would be thinking the whole time, that's my number one job. These guys are number two. Yeah.
You're my number one.
Yeah.
You're
So you're living with your mom.
Living with my mom
I want to
now.
move in there.
Please,
Yeah.
take
yeah.
her. She's
Yeah.
all yours.
And what's that like? What's that like for you, like, when you have a girlfriend?
My mom is rad.
Yeah.
Rad, my mom.
Whenever there is I have a friend that comes over or
Yeah.
something, I tell my mom she's go to the attic and I lock her.
Oh, that's nice.
I lock her in
Yeah.
a room
That's
because she's
nice.
understanding. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I was living at this house for a while, and then she
Yeah,
was
yeah.
alone. And,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so
Yeah.
she-
Yeah, so Andy and I were living together.
yeah, Matt and I had
Yeah.
a
And I
house.
decided
Matt got married.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
So he moved out.
And I was lucky though. Andy was willing to stay, so we got to keep the house.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
there.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
there like, but I was there alone.
Thank goodness,
Yeah,
by
yeah,
the
You
way.
know,
Yeah,
which was
yeah.
great. Yeah, thank God. But I was there alone,
Yeah.
and then just after like 2 years of being there alone, it was
Yeah.
like, am I going to
Yeah.
stay here, or can mom move in? Something.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that just organically worked
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
how does your mom like being a grandma?
She loves it.
I bet she
Oh,
would.
she
She
loves
would.
it.
I told
Gosh.
you she still
Yeah.
teaches, so she's
I know,
really.
she-
My
That's
mom
amazing.
teaches 4 days a week.
Yeah,
I
she's
know.
like got
It's amazing.
a crazy
Yeah.
amount of energy. She loves kids still, so she's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
her favorite thing.
Yeah.
You know,
That
she
must be
always loved that.
satisfying. People are like, "What? You'll be a great grandfather." I go, "How? When would I be a grandfather?" By the way, I hope I'm not, because my kids are so young. Like my sister was 14 when she got married. My mom was 16. I come, yeah, and she ended up in prison, of course. But for real, but you know,
Well, it's almost a prerequisite when you
Yeah.
get married at 14. You're going to
right?
basically end up in
No
prison.
kidding.
Oh
but
my
also,
God.
there's no pressure these days. Not as much pressure with the kids.
Yeah.
Right.
To
Right.
do whatever.
Same
you
here.
know.
I mean, I'm 35. I've got no pressure on
Yeah.
me, really. I mean, I probably should at this point.
No,
but-
you shouldn't. No,
No,
you
you
shouldn't.
shouldn't.
No.
And these little kids, they have a different. And there's no
I
pressure.
came up in the generation where there was still pressure.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure.
There was.
Well,
That's
yeah,
why
you
I
always
felt
wanted
it.
to-
I
yeah.
felt it at 26, 27. Like, what the heck, you know? And so,
You
I mean,
always wanted
I
to-
had my
but you
first
al-
at 29.
yeah, you
so.
always wanted to be married, though.
I
and have
did.
kids.
Yeah,
I
you're a
did.
romantic.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
no
yeah,
doubt about it.
romantic,
Like
yeah.
you're
100%.
You know, you get that. Some people
You are
like
too.
that.
You are too.
I am.
I
hopeless.
remember.
Yeah,
yeah.
hopeless. No, I'm right there with you,
Key
man.
factor on hopeless.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: if you get married because you want unconditional love, that's a mistake. You can say "I will love you unconditionally" at that ceremony, but there's conditions, as there should be.
Yes.
But with kids, you're like, oh, it's on.
It's
From
on.
the moment I saw my son, I'm like, I will never be able to complain about not having unconditional love
Right.
both ways. And it's crazy. It's crazy how good
Dude,
it is.
That is so
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I want kids. I want kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
At some point. I do.
Yeah, but don't do it until you really.
I
Really,
know.
really.
I
don't
know.
even, because it's a real deal.
It's the real deal.
You
I
know.
I've been doing it for 17 years already.
Yeah, you
I know.
have.
I get
Yeah.
it. I get it.
I have a vivid memory of when I was really young. Again, when we were doing that show and you were going through some relationship problems.
Yes.
And I somehow wound up in your dressing room and things were being thrown around at you and
Yeah.
you went out of your way.
There was that.
Yeah, I mean, there was like I think a TV was
Yeah.
being thrown.
Oh,
at your
yeah,
face.
yeah, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
but Tom like grabbed me
Yeah.
and was like totally kept his cool.
Yeah.
And thinking about it now, I don't know how you did it.
Yeah.
But your focus shifted to me and you brought me outside and like, and then the door was slammed behind
Yeah.
you and you put your hands on my shoulder. You're like, I love you, bud. I gotta handle this. But and I said, I remember I didn't say much because I was
Yeah.
young, but I was like, are you all right, Tom? And you go,
Yeah.
buddy, I think I'm getting divorced.
Yeah. Well,
And then this is the best part. And then I'm like, okay. And I was like, wow, shit. Well, I'm gonna better let him have some privacy. And I go
Yeah.
walk, and you turn around to go back in, and the door's locked. You're
yeah,
like,
of course.
no, and you start banging on the door.
That was, you know, and it was funny
What a
because
sweet
our
man, dude.
our
You, like,
show, absolutely.
Dude, you totally like you shelved your own stuff
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
make
that's
sure that
huge.
the youth in the room
Yeah.
was okay first, and that is how
It's also not the first time that happened, but I had my office was John Wayne's old office. That's what I was told there on the CBS MTM lot. And it was
Wow.
upstairs. And when things were going sideways, Roseanne filmed on the same lot as us.
Yeah.
Right.
When things are going sideways, she would come over there or throw my, like I had these beautiful glass statues or whatever. They'd be out the window. There'd be a pile of glass. I'd look up.
Oh my
and she'd be-
God.
and I'm like, okay, this
my
is not.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my! I just
Yeah.
remember. First of all, there were also nights where Andy, and this is before obviously he could text us pictures and stuff, but he would come home and I'd be like, "Hey, what did you do? What did you?
We
do
go
tonight?"
hang out at Planet
He's like-
Hollywood.
He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Tom took me and we went and smoked cigars with Arnold. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, of course.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
One of my favorite stories.
You and Tom were
I was in one of
With
one of
Arnold
your- one of your
Schwarzenegger.
weddings I was in.
Yeah,
I was in, and I was a groomsman, and we were in the hotel room,
Yeah.
and you were getting ready, and I'm sitting there, and it's like kind of like the guy's moment in the hotel room before the wedding, and Schwarzenegger comes in,
Yeah.
and he grabs the TV
Yeah.
remote, and he goes, "Okay, guys, here comes the porn," and he turns on like
Like I did.
softcore hotel
Yeah.
porn,
Yeah.
and is smoking cohibas,
Yeah.
and I'm like, this is the coolest.
Yeah.
Like, what a cool
Well,
moment.
Well, he
Yeah.
is.
He's a
I'll
great
tell
guy,
you,
man.
Arnold. We
He's
did
so
the movie
cool.
many years ago, True Lies,
Oh.
and you,
Dude, by the way,
Still
that
one of the
movie,
best.
one of the best ever.
classics.
I mean, I
We
would go
were-
as far as to say Cameron's best movie all
Yeah.
around.
In
Like,
my
it really
opinion,
is.
Yeah.
in my
It really
opinion,
is.
as a film,
Yeah.
I appreciate Avatar for what it is.
Aliens,
for what
Yeah.
it
Truman's
accomplishes.
great, all that, but
No,
True Lies, there's just something about that
Yeah.
movie,
it is
man,
the
that is-
best film.
You know,
that he's ever
you know
made.
why? Because it's packed with so much. You
Yeah.
have the great action movie, but also like
Human element.
deep
There's
stuff
some
being
funny
dealt.
stuff, yeah.
And
Comedy.
then
Yeah.
you
Dude.
bring in the comedy
Oh my
and
God.
your relationship with
The ice
Schwarzenegger.
cube trays out
You
of the
just
freezer.
can't beat it. That's
Dude,
like
yeah.
lightning in a
Yeah.
bottle.
I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
when a
Ice
character-
cube
I will
trays
never forget that
out of
line.
the freezer.
What kind of sick?
Oh my
Dude,
God.
when he checks himself and all the
Oh,
bullets
the
goes
bullets.
off.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Epic
Oh my
classic
God.
moment, man.
Here's
Give
what
me the
I say.
goddamn page.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Here's my favorite. When a character
You
can
knew
be
about that?
funny, when a character can
I don't want to be in the
that-
van anymore. Why am I always in the van? Oh my
When a
God.
character is that funny,
Yeah.
okay, but let me tell you something.
grounded
but
in that
grounded.
movie.
The character
Holy
doesn't
shit.
know he's funny.
Right, of course.
That's the key.
That's good.
Wow,
Because let me
man.
tell you something. Eddie Murphy had that too.
Yes.
Okay, and
Up
Eddie-
until Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Yeah.
And Eddie Murphy lost it. He
Yeah.
became a caricature of Eddie Murphy, in my opinion.
I
think he's
You know,
back
I think
now.
he's back.
He's back
but
now.
for
Yeah.
many years during the
Yeah.
Norbits and all these things,
Yeah, yeah.
Pluto Nash, and he was playing himself.
Right.
Like, but Axel Foley had no idea how funny he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And when they threw him out of that window in Beverly Hills Cop, he's like,
Oh, my God.
and the police roll up. He's like, oh, guys, thank God you're here. He's like,
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? I just got thrown out of a fucking window.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
funny. 'cause
He's
you didn't
brilliant.
know.
I love
that-
I
me
love
too.
him.
I
That's
love
what
Eddie.
you
Yeah.
embodied
But
in that
you
film.
embodied that.
Well,
Yeah.
here's
Your
why.
character was so funny,
Jim
but you didn't know it.
Cameron
Yeah.
let me do it. Like
Oh
Jim
my
Cameron
God.
and Arnold.
Yep.
The Fox did not want me in that movie to be a third guy. And Jim Cameron went to the mat. I went over and my agent set up
Wow.
a meeting with him, and I knew it was like a mercy meeting because they thought Roseanne and I were leaving William Morris. So they're like, oh, call Jim Cameron. Please meet with him. I know you don't want to cast him in the part. Please meet. So I went over there, and I almost didn't even go. I was embarrassed. And then I went over there and I talked to him, and he's great. You know, we shoot the shit a little bit. And then he's like, okay, let's do the scene. And I was like, I didn't even read it because I know I'm not getting the movie. So why even try? That's a lesson. And he goes, oh, okay, you're here. Read it. It's three pages. Just read it to me. I read it to him once, and he was like, huh. And then he goes, get Arnold down here. Arnold was upstairs. I didn't know Arnold was upstairs.
What?
And
Oh
the reason
my God.
he said the reason he cast me because I was standing next to him as Arnold comes down the stairs, and he said I turned to him, Cameron did, and said, I could take him. Like I really, and I did it. Like, okay, I'm sizing this guy up like you do with guys.
Oh,
and he said that's why. And you know he had to go tell Fox, and they were not happy. And he goes, well, then I'll make it a Paramount. This is the movie. That's the guy. This is the movie.
Oh,
And
man.
I didn't realize how lucky I was. I was like, because that was my first big, movie, and we had a great time together, and we're all still friends, and it was it was the first $100 million movie. And we had all this fun together, and I thought, oh, I bet all movies are like this. It turns out no movies are like
No.
that.
I know,
But
man.
you know,
Yeah,
Jim
man.
he would let me ad lib. I mean, he had his limits.
No,
And he'd go, do it, Tom, do it my way once. And then then with the thing with the when Arnold breaks the window out of the car when he's mad, he goes, now do it 17 different ways. Smart guy. And so I'd have to think it was kind of fun, except they had to keep resetting the window.
Oh,
I did.
my
But
God.
the scene in front of the pole, the light pole, or when the terrorist comes out the
When
window.
the bullets come
Yeah.
out.
Bullets ricochet.
You check your whole body and your
well,
balls.
I didn't do that. I didn't do that at first, but we was shooting at nights at Georgetown, which is outside of Washington,
Yeah,
D.C.
I know where
Anytime you shoot in
Georgetown
Washington, D.C., it's tough to shut down stuff. And there was a lot of people watching. You can't see them there in the movie, but a lot of people watch it. And the guy comes out there, he shoots, the squibs go off on the pole, and I was like, okay, I didn't do anything. And he goes, cut. He goes, Tom, reset the pole, reset the window, and this time do something. And I thought, I'm going to do everything. And that's what he ended up.
Oh, my
Genius, Tom.
God.
Yeah.
Awesome. Absolutely.
I'm
gonna do
everything.
And
I mean,
Bill-
that moment when you. Oh, okay, I mean, that was like you couldn't.
I-
Just pure
I
genius.
remember we were in, and by the way, Andy was already friends with you at this point.
Yeah,
Obviously,
of
you'd
course,
already had
of
these
course.
amazing
Yeah,
adventures.
It was
and
the
stuff.
coolest. It was it
But
was so
we went to
freaking
see
cool.
that.
Oh.
We went
Uh-huh.
to see that movie. Okay, and I don't even know if you remember this. We were in Maui, and there was a Planet
yeah.
Hollywood right there.
Oh, yeah, there
in
was-
Lahaina. Okay,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
place we'd
I
always
remember
go
well.
because they
Yeah.
just like you, they would fly us
Yeah.
around to the openings
Yeah,
of those
yeah,
Planet
yeah, it
Hollywood.
was
Great
great.
times.
With the
They hook you up
jackets
with
I missed
cigarettes.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good time.
The free food.
Well,
the
free
free
food.
Remember the
man.
Letterman jackets?
Yeah,
Remember the
the
Letterman?
jackets
Oh, anyway,
and
all that
So we
stuff.
were in the movie theater in downtown Lahaina. True Lies was out, and Andy was obsessed with us going to see because obviously we all were. But
Yeah.
you know, you were his
had
like
to see it.
godfather, so he was like,
Yeah.
"We got to go see Tom." We went to see it in Hawaii.
Oh, my God.
And in the movie theater, okay,
Yeah.
when your name came up
Yeah.
on the screen, Andy stood up
Yeah.
in that theater and was like,
Yeah.
"That's my friend."
Oh, that's great. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
in reality, because it was great fun to go around. We filmed for 7 months, and I was going through a divorce with
7
Roseanne, so
months?
it was a good thing to go to work.
Yeah,
you know?
Yes.
for sure.
And when Jim Cameron, he didn't tell me this till after the movie came out, but the first time he tested the movie, people are in there, they don't know what they're going to watch. All of a sudden it says a James Cameron movie. They're like, yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, yeah. And they said my name, and people booed. Right.
What?
But by the end of that screening, they fill out these cards.
Yes,
And
there
they're
you
like,
go.
what character did you like
Redemption.
the best? And it was, so
That's
within
it.
that
Yes.
movie, people are like, I don't know him. I never knew him before when I hated him. But he might be okay.
Yeah,
'Cause
How
he's
about
good
that,
in this
Tom?
movie.
That performance like
Yeah.
changed the perception of what people were thinking about.
Yeah,
you.
and
Yeah.
it was good because I'd been obviously working on Roseanne for 6 years.
Right.
And when we broke up, I mean, that job's gone. you know?
Right.
And so it was, Hollywood's like, yeah, he's rode her coattails, you know, he'll
I
talent.
remember the
Yeah.
skew that was put on you. I
Yeah,
remember.
he'll be back in Iowa in a couple weeks. I was
Yeah, I
like,
remember.
that's probably true. I will be. But I will be able to tell my grandkids, I worked on one of the best TV shows ever, Roseanne, for 6 years.
Yes.
And Jim Cameron and Arnold, like, F those people. When this movie comes out in July, it's going to change everything. And I was like, I'd like to believe that.
Yes.
But it really did.
It sure did, man.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
not that I haven't made mistakes since then,
Well,
but it's
but
what you
everybody
do.
does.
Yeah, once you do something where people are like, I can't give anybody else credit for what you just, what I just saw. It's
true.
You know, it's important to all of us.
It really is.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing about our jobs. The phone could ring today, and it can
I
change your
know.
life.
Isn't
Like,
that
that's
well,
crazy.
look, it is.
Yes.
No matter how long you spend,
Yeah.
how much
No
time you
kidding.
spend in it.
One of our
Yeah.
dear
That's the
friends
ebb and flow
is
of it,
John
man.
Travolta.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, I
He's
love
been-
John Travolta.
John has
John
been
Travolta is
an
the
amazing
best.
Yeah.
friend to us.
Yeah.
I
True.
love John.
Yep.
I did a movie with John. He treated me
Yeah.
very much.
Oh,
the
he's
relationship
nice to
you and
everybody.
Andy had.
Yeah.
I was a little older. That's
Yeah.
how John treated
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
and our family. Okay.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. To this day, we still text all
Yeah,
the time.
he's
I
a
love
great
John.
guy.
I love you, John.
He is a truly,
He is a
and
good
he's
guy.
awesome talent.
So
he's
good.
a great guy.
Oh my God.
Great guy.
You
And by the
know.
way, like John, you guys
Yeah.
both look unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
John's like 67, 68 years old.
He looks amazing.
Amazing. You look
He is
amazing.
Yeah, you do look
Thank
amazing.
So anyway,
I do look
but
pretty
In fact,
good.
I would say you look better now.
Probably, yeah.
like,
dude,
there-
well, I've looked worse before.
Yeah.
You know.
No, you look amazing.
Yeah. You
look great.
But John said it all the time. Speaking of that
Yeah.
one role, he said, it was that time after Look Who's Talking, what was going to happen, and the phone rang when at his low point, and it was Quentin Tarantino
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
going,
crazy.
"I'm going to fight for
Yeah.
you."
Yeah, they
And I
wouldn't
remember
same
Quentin
thing.
saying,
Yeah.
they cut his budget,
Yeah.
and he still said, "You guys, John's the guy.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
going with him. He doesn't work anymore. He's on a box office.
Yeah.
Nobody cares."
Yeah.
Right, and then the rest is history.
Yeah.
So it's that you're right. At any moment, something can happen.
But you
That's-
you also need the guy like Quentin Tarantino,
You
James
do.
Cameron, that
You need James.
that knows what they want.
have the backbone.
Yes.
And they're like, well, I'm just we'll make it somewhere else.
Yep.
This is the movie.
That is
So take it or leave it.
Wow.
And what a great
Those
thing for
people
him.
are few and far between
Yeah.
now. They always were few and far
Yeah.
between. Now they're almost non-existent because
Right.
everybody's so worried and scared, and
So
you know,
true.
and nobody has a backbone. So few
Right.
people
Yeah.
have backbones anymore.
Yeah, that's
Go,
very true.
No, this is it.
Yeah.
This is my conviction.
Yeah.
This is it. And because they all cave to.
And you know what's
okay.
You know what's so funny though? When you do step out and make those choices,
Yeah.
they're
You're
always
rewarded.
they're always like this incredible
Yeah.
turnout.
Right.
It's like, why aren't
Yeah.
people like realizing that when you know what you want and you take a chance
Take a
of something,
stand.
that
Yeah.
chance when you're most afraid and you jump,
Yeah.
that's when you succeed the most.
Right.
It
Right.
is.
And I think, Brendan Fraser this year. Here's a
Oh,
guy.
there you go. Great,
He was,
great.
he,
Talk about
you
that.
know, he used to have a rockin' body. And he was,
Yes.
did these things, and then he, as the business, those offers stopped, dried up. And he
course.
went through a
Divorce?
too,
Yeah,
that cost him
everything.
And,
Yeah,
he was doing those autograph shows, which I do, and I'll do more.
us
I
too.
love it.
Yeah,
I
us
love
too.
it.
Love
Yep.
it. Yeah.
I love those.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
great.
But then he
the
gets
cons.
this
Cons.
opportunity
Yeah.
with this movie, The Whale, and
Changed
you
his
know,
whole
you
life.
just can't not root. Him and Jamie Lee Curtis winning. Jamie Lee Curtis, that
Isn't
meant
that
a lot.
crazy?
That meant a lot.
So
Isn't
cool.
that crazy?
Yeah.
So cool.
And what's his name who won from Goonies?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, that guy. I know, it's that guy.
22 years.
Yeah.
Without
Yeah.
an audition.
Dude, how about that?
Wow.
22 years,
22
yeah.
years. Talk about getting a phone call
Yeah.
and then winning an Academy
Yeah.
Award, guys.
And didn't he have? Wasn't that his second phone call? Because back in the day when he was a kid, did Steven Spielberg?
Yes,
or
you're
somebody
right.
call
Called him for Goonies.
like that.
You're
okay,
right.
That's enough to retire. I'm like,
You're
oh my
right.
god, that's
Is that
just
right,
one time.
dude?
You're
Unbelievable.
right.
But-
Indiana
I know.
Jones and Goonies, like that. It doesn't
know.
get better than
I
that.
know.
No, I
When
know.
it comes
And
to
then-
career,
Come on,
and
show
then
around.
everything happening all at once everywhere. Literally,
Yeah.
those are his
Yeah.
three movies.
well, and Encino
Yeah.
Man, I think he
You're
was
like-
with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
was a very small. I mean,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
his, where he had actually like
meaty
Yeah.
role.
Oh,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Pitches of power. Pitches
Yeah.
of power.
Ah.
Goonies.
And I love they talk about losing their insurance. During COVID, a lot of people. Sharon Stone lost her. I
lost my insurance.
I lost mine. They
Yeah.
SAG just decided to cut
Yeah,
everybody's
no, they
insurance.
did.
Yeah,
They
but wait,
did.
what is that?
Yeah.
Like during when everything's shut down?
Yeah, when
the
you
most
need it.
important time.
Yeah.
How are you? That's
Yeah.
I
bizarre.
don't even get me started.
You know, I'm
but I
really-
love these stories because you say when Jamie Lee Curtis won this year, I was like, I'm connected to her. You know how you feel. You root for your friends.
course,
You root-
of
I
course.
just seen her. We just done a selfie in a parking lot, and I said because there's a little of me. Not I'm taking
Yes,
credit
true.
for it,
No, you're absolutely
but
right.
It's possible.
It's energy.
It's
energy,
possible.
Tom.
Yeah.
It's energy,
I
Tom.
know,
Yeah.
Tom,
It's all
you're
energy.
right.
I'm going to tell you why I'm in Hollywood real quick. When I got out of high school in Ottumwa, Iowa, it's a farming town, and I'd always dreamed I wanted to be on TV one time because I thought everybody in my hometown will like me if I'm on TV one time. Turns out that's not true. But I started working on the kill floor of a meatpacking plant. And I worked there for 3 years, and I tried to save money to go to college because I went, if I get to University of Iowa, I'm going to have a chance because they have a stage. And about third year, I'm like, yeah, this is not going to happen. And I started seeing there were people that love working there because it's a good job. They had benefits. And I go, the reason they have families or whatever, I got to learn to love this job. And I went out drinking with my buddies one night at our little disco, and I walked out on the street, and Andy Kaufman was standing there. Now,
Really?
Andy Kaufman, who I worshipped as a comedian from Taxi and whatever, was 20 miles away staying in a place called Maharishi International University studying meditation. And he was wrestling women at that time. And he came to Ottumwa, to the Coliseum. We have a lot of women's wrestling events. And
You are
he
from a
paid
tough
them.
town, huh?
Yeah, he paid them to stay. He paid them to stay later and wrestle him. And they took the whole crowd to Happy Joe's Pizza and school buses. And I heard that. I'm like, that's the guy I want to be. But I saw him on my street, so I knew. I was trying to figure out how do you get from Ottumwa, Iowa to Hollywood. And I went, oh, this guy came from Hollywood to Ottumwa, Iowa. It must be possible.
Wow.
And so
That
little,
is awesome.
those little moments, you
Yes,
got, okay.
That's no crazy. The fact that you saw Hollywood in your hometown,
Yeah.
clicked in your brain,
Yeah.
and that means I can get there.
Yeah, well,
super
and,
cool.
And growing up,
Love that.
The only
It is
time
cool.
we heard our dad, he was a single dad, he worked hard, really laugh, was when there was a Bob Hope special on. And Bob Hope was a comedian.
Oh,
that
I
had these
remember.
great-
I
kind of
did two
risque-
Bob Hope
Okay.
specials. Yes.
Well, I said to myself, whatever Bob Hope does, that's what I want to do because I want to make my dad laugh.
My
so
God.
one of the first things I did in Hollywood was a Bob Hope special.
Did you?
Wow.
Yeah.
I
And
did
he
Bob Hope
called
Christmas
my
special.
dad.
I did
yeah.
the soft shoe with him.
He-
Go
Oh,
ahead.
you did?
I did.
I had to wear
so he actually called your dad?
He called my dad. He sent him all this stuff, and I was like,
way.
"Okay, that's it. There's no more."
I was about to
there's
say
no
that's
more
like
gold.
it. Yeah, that's it.
my
That's the
God,
full
man.
story right
But,
there.
you know,
Turn the
Bob
whole-
Hope.
Yeah.
He's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Bob Hope. The iconic people that we just
It's shocking to people we've met.
We're not replacing them, you know.
No.
I mean, it's just like I remember I was saying earlier on we were talking. I mean, I got to do comedy with George Burns and Milton Berle. I got to do
that's
comedy
so great.
sketches. I tap danced
Yeah.
with Sammy Davis Jr.
That's crazy.
Like literally had a routine
Yeah.
with him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's crazy.
Yeah,
like
it is
you
crazy.
don't even think about that. I worked with Carl Reiner.
Yeah.
You know, I
Love
mean,
Carl Reiner.
Yeah, me too.
Love Carl Reiner.
He directed me in a
Yeah.
movie I did with John Candy called Summer Rental.
Oh yeah, that's
I
right.
love
That's
that
right.
movie.
Dad, you work with John Candy.
I work with John
How
Candy.
about that deal?
I know, dude. I played his son.
Yeah.
He was one of the coolest guys
Yeah.
ever. Ate in his trailer every day.
Yep.
He was doing the Pritikin diet at that time.
Oh
'cause
my
he was
gosh,
trying to
that's
loan
great.
down everything back in
Yeah.
the 80s. And literally, how about this? I caught a flounder off a pier while filming that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The chef cooked it, and Carl Reiner ate it in John's trailer with me at lunch.
Oh,
he
that's
ate the
amazing.
flounder I caught.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
dude.
That's so
but
cool.
it's just, you have these amazing things, and you have the ups and downs, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
We all have places that we want to get back to, we want to go, places
Right.
we haven't gone. I know. I feel the hope that I'm going to get there,
Yeah.
and I love seeing
Well, we
that.
just have to stand up
Dude,
and do it.
I want them to make True Lies too.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
always said
well,
that.
you know, I
Well,
did the TV series, which was great
Right.
fun. They wrote.
Yep.
I went down there and
Looks
they
cool.
written a whole episode, and it was great. And in the movie, I say, "What kind of a sick bitch takes the ice cream trays out of the freezer?" That line is in there, and you see who it is. That woman who's still trying to.
No!
She is still
Great.
trying
Yes!
to kill
I love the
me.
payoff.
She's
Yes!
still trying to kill me. Real quick, Pritikin story.
Yes.
Chris Farley, one of my best buddies.
Yeah.
The best
man.
man.
Yeah. He was at Pritikin. Pritikin had a place in Santa Monica,
Okay.
and he went over there to lose weight. And I went to visit him, and then they were like, they're testing your sugar. They're going to make, and we're sitting there, and I'm like, wow. Let's get out of here. And we went to La Dome. Remember La Dome on Sunset?
Oh, my God.
We ate every dessert.
Dude, wait, we make jokes that when Andy's like, he sends texts, we have an Elbros chain on our phone, and he sends texts, he's like, guys, I'm going to swing by, let's go hit La Dome. But he does this now.
I do
like
now.
it's been closed
Yeah.
for 10 years.
That's really funny.
Like going out to the Dome,
But
baby.
that's,
Yeah.
I was helpful with Chris with his substance abuse, but that was not helpful. Taking a guy that's losing weight, going, and then they checked his blood sugar as soon as he got
my
back.
God.
I'm like,
Oh, my God.
Where have you been? So anyway, that's good.
Oh my God,
man.
that is so funny.
Yeah.
Well, I want them to make a sequel. I know that for years they were
Yeah.
they were
Well,
fooling around with
they
that,
have a
right?
show.
Because
They have a show now.
No, I know they have
no,
a show.
they had
Well,
a
they-
sequel
yeah.
written.
That's right. You said
They
this to
written
me.
and it ended with a submarine coming up on shore at the base of the Twin Towers, and then 9/11 happened, and Jim Cameron's like, I can't make terrorism funny right now, so they went on to other things, but it's great. It's been fun to talk about it. And Arnold, I wrote a little movie with my next door neighbor kid. My next door neighbor up there, his dad is a billionaire in real life, and he had cerebral palsy. He was so small when he was born, but his dream was to be in an action movie. So his dad said, I'll finance a little action movie. You could write it with Eric Gores, his kid's name. And then I called Arnold. I go, well, his real dream is to True Lies, to be that. And Arnold and Jamie Lee showed up to film.
No.
Which is
What?
crazy.
That is
like this guy
insane.
had this kid was so excited. He had a girlfriend, Ariel Kebbel, got to play his girlfriend, who was my daughter and soul played. And it was just incredible experience.
Are you serious?
No.
Where's
Yeah.
this movie? I want to see
It's
it.
it's called The Kid and I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it
But
out?
this
Is it
kid-
coming out? What's
Yeah,
going
no, it was out. And it's
I've
funny
seen this
because at the premiere, like Ben Affleck, all these guys, because the dad ran a poker game. Did you see Molly's game?
Yes.
Yeah, that was his game. So all these guys would come over to the house
my God.
and play high stakes poker.
it. I
He's a
love Molly's
billionaire,
game.
so he could lose whatever he wants.
Right.
Molly's game was
Wow.
great.
It was great.
Yeah.
I love that movie. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
Man. Well, I don't know. It's amazing to me that after all these years that you're still the same guy.
Yeah, we
Like,
can still sit down at a table
Yeah.
and pretty much
Like,
pick up.
think about it.
right
I
where
know
we
you
left
and
off.
Andy-
I feel the same about you guys.
I know you and
Yeah.
Andy communicate, but it's like
Yeah.
we don't talk a lot. I
Right.
mean, but yet when you and I say
What's
family
life?
can
You know
be-
what I mean? You
family
go-
can be
it's a
blood,
journey.
Yeah.
That's
family
what
can
it
be
is.
blood, but
Yeah.
family can also be just that
Terrible.
distinction. Yes, just that. It's
But
true.
this is a choice that
This
we
is a
all
choice.
made
Yeah.
early on.
And there are certain friends that you make and that you feel connected to emotionally at a real deep level, and it's like family.
Yeah.
And no matter how much time goes by,
That's
those
true.
good friends, you literally pick it up with them like no time is.
That's
changed.
right. And that's all I
it
am
isn't
with you-
about
you
checking
guys.
in. We
Yeah.
have to work on the relationship,
Yeah, that's
or
true.
you need
Yeah.
my time, I need your time.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. And I feel like that with very few people. I know we do in our lives.
Yeah.
Very few. You are one of those people, dude. You're
Yeah.
the same great, amazing
amazing person that took our baby brother under your wings when he
Yeah.
was little. His
31 years ago.
Yes,
Oh
man.
my God.
Yes,
Wow,
and I
wow,
cannot
I know,
believe that
dude.
you were here.
Yeah,
on
it's
our
so cool.
I know.
podcast.
We just
dude.
talked. I didn't even know it didn't seem like we were filming.
No.
I know.
And I saw the time, and I was like, "Have we been talking that long?"
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't
Oh,
that
that's
crazy?
great. Well,
So-
perfect. That's
Dude.
why you have a podcast. So you get friends and do.
That's it, man.
Like this.
good
People
conversations.
describe
Yeah.
this as the podcast about nothing, and that's true. And we're cool with
Oh,
that.
that's cool.
Yes, that's
cool.
true.
I don't get to
Because,
talk
you
to
know-
many adults because it's all about the kids.
It's true.
And then when I get a chance with my adult friends,
Yeah.
who were kids at one
Yeah,
time,
I know.
it's fun. We're just like it's
We
so
just-
easy, and I recommend anybody coming on here.
Well, thanks,
It is
Tom.
so easy.
Thanks, Tom. Well, that's what people have been
Thank
saying.
you.
It's not about, we have no form or function, or it's not a
I
set list
love
or
that.
questions that we need to go over.
No.
It's
Yeah.
like dinner table conversation.
what
That's,
it's
about.
all it is. And,
And
that's
you
what
let
we do.
people talk. I know I talk too much. but-
No,
No way.
Really,
Dude.
you guys seem curious about. You
We
know,
love
even-
it,
I
man.
am.
It's
Yeah, I
genuine.
love it,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
I
Genuine.
want
What
to
we
talk
talk about is
yeah.
real. We
Yeah.
don't talk about stuff that we don't genuinely feel
Yeah.
something
You'll
to talk
have to
about.
come back on.
Yes.
Okay, well,
We're going to figure out some
Take
sort
your
of
time.
trouble to get into
Yeah, let's do
outside of the
that.
podcast,
Okay.
Yes.
and then you got to invite me over for a silly
Yeah,
string fight.
you have to cast me one of your movies.
Oh, my
I
God.
really hate my
That's-
4-year-old son.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
will.
no-brainer.
No, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
We'll
We're doing
talk
movies
and we'll
together.
figure
No,
out
it's
what.
more about we want to make sure that we get the,
let's,
good
let's
stuff really
talk
good.
and figure out what you want to
Yes.
do,
Yeah.
and let's figure out something
And
cool and badass.
honest to God,
Yeah.
no
And we'll put it
bullshit.
together.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
And that's not how, like, we'll do it.
No,
No,
no.
exactly. I know you will.
All right. I love you,
All
Tom.
Love you,
Love
Tom,
you guys.
so much.
Love
You guys,
you
awesome.
Thank you for
Everybody,
coming
thanks
today.
so much for joining
Thank
us.
you, everybody.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes,
Tom Arnold, everybody.
Tom Arnold.
Arnold.
Tom Arnold.
God bless. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Hey guys, the Lawrence Brothers here to thank you for tuning in and watching this episode of the Brotherly Love Podcast.
That's right. And to watch clips from this pod, go to the Podco YouTube channel at the link in the description.
And for exclusive weekly bonus content, join our Patreon now. The link is also in the description.
And we will see you guys next week.
Next week.
Next week.